Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books from Book of the Month Club and beyond. I'm your host, I'm Renee, my co host, the lovely Raina. She knows she gets a treat on that statement. And today I have for you a review of this month's Book of the Month choice for me, and that was The Lion Women of Tehran. The author is Marjan Kamali. So let's talk about it. This book is a work of historical fiction. It is also under the genre of literary fiction. So it is a character driven story. The author, as I say, is Marjan Kamali. That's her there. Just a little bit of info about her. She was born in Turkey to Iranian parents. She moved to Iran, where she lived for a few years, followed by Hamburg, Germany, where she started school. She subsequently lived in Kenya and Iran again before settling in the US in 1982. So she's lived in quite a few countries. Kamali received her bachelor's degree in English literature from the University of California, Berkeley, and an MBA from Columbia University and an MFA at New York University. Her first novel is called Together Tea, and that was published in 2013. Her second novel is called The Stationery Shop. That book came out in 2019. And now she has this one, which will come out in July 2nd, 2024. So let's talk about the women, the lion women of Tehran. First, the book starts out in 1950 in Tehran, Iran. There we meet the main character, whose name is Ellie. Her actual name is Elahe. Her father has just passed away, and she and her mother have to move to a downtown small apartment from an uptown, more larger, more kind of affluent neighborhood. This means that Ellie, who is about 7 years old at the time, must change schools and is now about to start school in a place where she is a stranger. She doesn't know anybody. But soon she meets a friend whose name is Homa. Homa is everything that Ellie isn't. She's outgoing, she's joyful, she's exuberant, and she's already showing kind of a passion for wanting to take on the world. Whereas to Oma, Ellie is the special one because she's beautiful, she dresses well, she has money for nice things, and she is descended from royalty. So they become fast, and I'm going to say lifelong friends because even though they do drift apart somewhat due to circumstances, physical and others. They never really forget about each other, and their friendship is always a big influence on both of them, but in different ways, of course. So, some ways are for the better, and some ways maybe not so much. Throughout the story, you are made aware as the reader that there is trouble brewing in Iran. During the 50s and the 60s, Iran was becoming more westernized, in some ways more progressive as well, particularly where rights for women were concerned. However, of course, not everybody in Iran felt that the westernization in general and capitalism in particular, you got to think oil became a big thing during that time. They kind of felt more that that was a threat to their traditional way of life and to the Islamic religion. And there were factions who wanted more progress, those who wanted democracy, those who wanted the religious leaders to continue to have a strong influence within the government, and generally speaking, um, at the time even, anyone opposing the Shah was under suspicion and under threat of, possibly being jailed if they were in any way seen as protesting the Shah and his government. Now, eventually, the Shah was exiled from Iran, and his government was overthrown in the late 70s. And the Ayatollah Khomeini rose to power, and a fundamentalist Islamic government took over Iran. And at that time, women lost many of their rights. Now, when it comes to this issue in the book, there are some differences between the two women, the two friends who are the main characters. Homa was very politically active, even prior to the change in government, and Ellie's family supported and trusted in the Shah. So politics and time and place have a strong role in this story, which brings us all the way up to the present day. I believe that the last chapter takes place in 2022 and includes several generations of female characters within the two families. So, what did I think of the book? Well, as I say, basically, I liked it very much. I felt that the characters were realistic. They had both good qualities and maybe not so good qualities, particularly the main characters, who start out as naive children, really grow and, of course, develop throughout the story. The events in the story are real and historical, and I do remember many of the important events that led up eventually to the change in government in Iran, and what that meant for women in particular. It's very remarkable to me that women there in Iran continued to fight for their freedom and their rights under great duress sometimes. They continue to be beaten, jailed, and, there's a lot of tight control over protesters in general. And I think we saw that with some recent events. So, having said that, let me point out that this author, Marjan Kamali, as I said, now lives in the US. And I can't help but feel that perhaps, and this is just my opinion, she may have written this book as a warning to us here in the US. Not just women, but it is a reminder of how quickly rights can disappear and never come back. At least not come back within a lifetime. I was in my early 20s when the Islamic government was established in Iran, and now I'm in my mid-60s and the fight continues. So that's a long time. So I would give this book 4.5 stars. Again, I like the characters, the style of writing, and the subject matter. It's really a wonderful story of strong women and friendships. Now again, this book will come out on July 2nd, 2024. And I think that there would be a lot of people that would enjoy it along many lines, not just historical lines, but again, for the friendship and the great characters that are in the story. So that is my book review. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will continue to watch my channel. I hope if you like my content that you will like and subscribe. I'm going to give Raina another treat for being such a good dog and sitting here quietly and being such a nice co-host. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.